Hashtag staying up.
Tom Andrews said, sets up the big underdog story for Good Friday. Busy work week ahead, so I won't have to listen too much of Paige gloating how they beat the newly promoted club by a giant margin of 4 points.
And finally, concluding the Mackenzie clan on this one, Joshua says, I thought we did well, but we could have done better. The referee didn't have a good game. They only made meters by penalties, and their second try was short. Other than the kick-off, catches and kicking, Kelly, Griffin and Shaw, before he was injured, were good.
Fair enough. What else did you take from what you've seen of this one? Were there any of the tries that you particularly were excited by, or are we just going to laugh at Albert Kelly thinking he wasn't going to get to McDonald's before it shut and then realised he just had time?
He just had time. I mean, we mentioned it in the start there. I thought, obviously, Keir got himself a try, and he set one up for Williams as well down that side. Very, very impressive performance for me. I would say probably my player of the game for even though he was on the losing side. But yeah, other than that, I've only seen the try, so I can't comment on the refereeing decisions. I will just say that you're slightly blinded by your fandom, and we'll just leave it at that, I think. But yeah, what about you? What have you seen of it?
Well, It looked like it was going to be easy for all, didn't it? The Josh Griffin tries weren't complicated tries, but London have...
It was good play from Yemet though, wasn't it? Particularly the second one, that was it was good switch in direction.
It was good play, but it wasn't like hugely difficult for them to score.
Oh no. There was only one player there.
I think a few of their tries were like that. I mean, Tumavave shouldn't have been able to. A nice sharp back reverse line that Hull have always done quite well with those lines, to be honest. But under Radford, but he shouldn't have been able to get through all that London defence. Like I think London do concede some soft tries, and Hull picked those opportunities well, and maybe they weren't firing at the best, but they still were managing to put on some of their pet plays, and it was just enough. But it looks like it was made really exciting by London, and I think London are giving us a lot more joy and excitement across Super League this year than any of us were really expecting. So that's awesome too.
Yeah, no, they're certainly giving a couple of teams a bit of a worry, aren't they? Moving on
to one of those teams, yeah. Okay, so we wrap up this week with the game at the AJ Bell Stadium, where it finished Salford 22, Wigan 30. Wigan were just ahead 18-16 at half time. Doesn't quite tell the full story of the last 15 minutes of that first half. 4,470 were there. Chris Kendall with a nice new haircut that meant I couldn't recognise him straight away. Don't worry, it wasn't Darnell McIntosh-esque. He was the referee this one. In terms of the stats, Wigan scored an extra try from 3 more breaks and 1.5 metres per carry better average gain. Salford actually made more metres and they had more ball thanks to 6 errors by them to Wigan's 11. Wigan had to make more tackles but made them at a 4.6% better tackle success rate. Individually, George Williams picks up the full 3 marks for the Man of Steel reckoning here. 3 tries, 169 metres from him. Joe Burgess on his return from an 11-month injury layoff. 2 tries, 4 clean breaks, 8 tackle busts, 108 metres. Dan Sargentson, 5 tackle busts and 145 metres. And I should say as well, a very, very good defensive performance in the second half from Dan Sargentson. And Zach Hardacre, in tough testing windy conditions, didn't drop a thing in the second half. 7 tackle busts and 131 metres as well. For the still entertaining Salford Red Devils, Jackson Hastings 176 metres, Daryl Alforts 1 try assist, 2 clean breaks, 3 successful offloads, 5 tackle busts, 131 metres, for what I referred to a few times in the game as just a League One player. Well, he showed me. Niall Evans 1 try, 5 tackle busts and 129 metres, and Josh Jones, who was at his pinball best, 1 try, 7 tackle busts and 113 metres from him. Just one fan review on this
just
one.
One fan review, but we'll hear your thoughts in a minute. So Jen K says, great game at the AJ Bell. Even some champagne rugby from us. Well, Prosecco maybe. Burgess, Gildart and Williams combining well. Well, I certainly thought he caught for his first try. I thought it was a miraculous catch, that I have to say. Well worth freezing our asses off for.
Tell you what,
it is quite an exposed.
It was cold. It was a lot colder than I was expecting it to be. That's for sure. I'd seen the sun out when I was leaving my house, and I decided to swap my SLP hat for a cap. And
fatal error.
I wasn't really too chuffed with that decision once the game kicked off and the clouds had come over at the AJ Bell and the winds were sweeping in and going right down my ear. So yeah.
Never be without your SLP hat, you should know that.
It was a lot windier than I was expecting it to be honest. We did almost get another fan review in from Rob, but he couldn't quite work out how to get something to do with cheats beating something to do with crowd size. He couldn't quite figure it out, so we didn't get one from him. In terms of the play in this game, Salford actually were definitely the better team for the first half an hour. 25 minutes. Then Wigan had a really good run where Salford couldn't get their hands on the ball. But Salford started the game strong but couldn't score, couldn't take advantage of that. They had a couple of missed kicks at goals as well, which probably stunted them a little bit in that first half too from Salford's perspective. Once Wigan did make that break that Jared Samet made, then threw a horrible pass to miss his first support runner and almost miss his second support runner, but George Williams did, like you say, make a great catch and recovery to score. Wigan then we started finally playing the ball with some speed and pace and intensity and won a few penalties, got into good field position, and then George Williams, who was fantastic in support play in this game, and his running game was unbelievable. His kicking game a little bit off the mark. He kicked out on the full. The wind did take it. The wind carried it out, but he had so much territory to play with that he didn't need to risk the sideline like he did on the kick he made. And Salford, from that field position, scored a really nicely worked try from their point of view, although question marks on Wigan's left edge defence for Daryl Alfort's try. Ed Chamberlain with a really nice offload. And then we sort of looked up at the clock and we were like, right, well, it's a minute and 20 seconds, so we've got one set to defend. We should be able to defend one set, 18-10 half time. We've got to be comfortable with that. We've got to be happy with that. We've not been in this position for a while. And then Salford put on a really good move that our left edge defence really couldn't cope with, and Burgess, in the first half, Joe Burgess made two mistakes, one right at the start where he dropped the ball and that led to a try, and one right at the end where he made a really bad tackle attempt on a League One player, and they scored a try from it. So, although that Nile Levels try was a really good try, one of the highlight moments of the game, but in the second half, other than the freakish try where Adam Walker ripped it out of Don Manfredi's hands like he was, taking a bag of coke off his dealer, I don't know. He was really enthused to get that, and do you know what? Credit to him in his.
Yeah, no, I want to say it was very smart. It was he knew that all he had to do was, if he got it off him, all he had to do was fall down and he'd score. So yeah, no,
and he just got it out before his teammate came in and made it a touchdown tackle as well, which was neat timing there. But from that point, actually, Wigan showed the most control and composure that they've shown all season in terms of the defensive side of the game. They actually were able to, in Salford's own half, meet Salford and stop them making the meters that they were making in the first half when Gil Dudson and Josh Jones in particular were very good, and were able to start making some meters themselves, start to control little things. It ended up that Louis and Hastings were not really finding too much space to do stuff with in the second half, because Wigan their containing defence finally worked because they were putting some intensity in it in other areas of the pitch. So once they crossed halfway line, they weren't making openings, which was a good sign from Wigan's point of view. And of course, the two George Williams tries in the second half were just vintage golden edge stuff, weren't they? It was so beautiful to see 3/4 of the golden edge restored. Joe Burgess, when he got open space, was fantastic. He made the right decisions, and George Williams outpaced Daryl Alforts, who's meant to be a winger, for his second try. And great play by Joe Greenwood on that one as well, but he's got a ban for stepping on someone's ankle, which I didn't see. I was
going to ask you about that because he's got a 1-game ban for that, hasn't it? And it said in the citing it says
deliberately stepping on someone's ankle. Yeah.
Yeah, we seems like it seems quite. I mean, that's about enough language. You can read language in lots of different ways, but to me,
to pick that out from the footage, it must be pretty obvious. I've not had a chance to go back and find the incident in the game and watch it.
No.
Back on Wigan TV, to be honest, but disappointing from that point of view. From Wigan's perspective, Wigan again looked better with Sean O'Loughlin off the pitch. George Williams looked a lot freer with him off the pitch. Seemed to be a bit more confident, and it's maybe at that tipping point now. I don't know, but Sean O'Loughlin, when he is off the pitch for the last 3 or 4 games for Wigan have been better, which is a strange feeling for me because I still will always love Sean O'Loughlin. But yeah, George Williams looked better in those instances. Ben Flower and Joe Bullock were great off the bench actually. Hastings and Evans are always threats, and you've got to say that. But in the second half, all of Wigan's backs were outstanding. Other than that, Manfredi, which you've got to credit Walker for, I suppose. Other than that, they were pretty much flawless. I think Burgess made one mistake at one point, but it was a defensive win rather than a Burgess knock on that one. But Wigan's outside backs were all outstanding. They were starting the sets off well, meaning Wigan could get into good field position, and they were creating the tries for Williams to score as well. Both teams did score some nice tries. Defence wide might be questioned on some of them for both, but let's credit the attack instead. For Salford Devils try should excite their fans that they're still scoring tries like that. For Wigan, all 3 of Williams' tries for me were just an absolute joy to watch. So happy days, return to smiles from the from me on for 1 week, maybe 1 week only, because Joe Greenwood was instrumental in this. Lucky to play this game because I think he should have got a ban from the week before, and now he's got a ban for
now. He's definitely got one. Yeah. Oh, well, there you go. Well, I was going to ask you quickly about your. Obviously, we've talked enough about Williams in terms of his performance. What about Samet, and what about did Shorrocks play much off the bench? Was it a kind of cameo stuff? Or?
Yeah, Shorrocks had about 15 minutes off the bench, and actually Tommy Luluai was pretty good in this game. He made some really good choices. He scored that try himself. He set up Joe Greenwood's try with a really good play that basically used all of George Williams' threat to bypass George Williams, which was a really clever play in the position of the field. So I think Luluai was pretty good. Shorrocks came on and put a couple of good kicks in from deep, which relieved the pressure on Wigan and chased them down himself as well. So he did okay, and I think he keeps doing okay. And maybe Sam Powell might have a problem getting back into this team if Jared Samet was actually good enough, and I'm just not sure. The only thing I remember him really doing in the game was that break for Williams' try, and other than that, he tried to kick the ball dead a few times and didn't make touch. But to be fair, the wind played havoc in that. Williams had 2 go out on the full, the second of which, if it was just a yard more floated, would have had Burgess in stride catching it and scoring from like 55 metres out. It would have been beautiful, but it was just a yard too strong, and the wind played a bit of havoc with that. But Samet, jury's out for me still, Al.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, standings. Do you want to take us through the standings?
Yep, so St Helens 100% start continues as they stay top. Warrington a second, 2 points behind, with Cass a further 2 points behind, back in third. Salford lead a group of 3 on 8 points, ahead of Hull FC and Catalan on points difference. Wakefield, Hull KR and London all have 3 wins. Wigan stay 10th, but moving on to 4 points, the same as Huddersfield, who are off the bottom. Leeds fall to the foot of the table.
Stat line of the week. I don't know what I've done here. I've gone for Jerry McGilvery, 2 tries, 1 try assist, 3 clean breaks, 9 tackles, 196 metres, which was impressive, but maybe it was because it was one of my games, so I lean towards that. But Johnny Lomax should get the mention.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can't really, for me, you can't look beyond Lomax. But yeah, I mean, it's hardly, you can hardly pick holes in 2 tries, 196 metres and 9 tackle busts, can you? But yeah, both excellent performances.
Player of the week. Do you want to go first on this? Who have you picked out, do you think, as the player of the week?
I am going to go for... Let me think. Probably